What I want to talk about now is CSS inheritance. And essentially what that is how certain elements, HTML elements, they will inherit CSS attributes that you define to parent HTML elements. So let's first define this parent-child relationship. A child element is something that is inside of another element, and for that child that means that it is inside of its parent element. So let's use our block quote as an example. Now, block quote is wrapped, well, paragraph rather, is wrapped inside of block quote. So it lives inside of the block quote. So that means that the paragraph is a child of the block quote, and the block quote is its parent. So that means that certain CSS attributes that we may apply to block quote will actually take effect to the parent. Now, let's look at probably the biggest parent element of them all, and that's HTML. Now, inside of that the HTML is, the granddaddy, if you will, of the rest of the elements side there, because it encompasses everything inside of the head, everything inside of the body. Similarly, the body pretty much has everything visible on the page. So that's why when we wanted to define a background color for the page, we defined it in body. And as you see, all these other div containers that are inside of there inherited that colored background because we didn't define any other color for them. So for example, if I go to main.css and let's say in education, I define it a new background color. Let's make it white. Okay, so now education all of a sudden has been redefined. It's not inheriting the background color from its parent element anymore, the body. It actually has its own. So basically all of these other elements over here, like container, although you don't see it, one of the attributes that container actually has inside of it is background color, and it has this background color from its parent element. So let's look at where I want to go with my styling and how this inheritance actually makes sense in our document. If you look in my finished product, where do I have it? Here it is. In my finished product, I have both. It seems like everything here is white, but the sides are this green color. Well, what I did is there is an element besides the body element that is holding all of our other div containers. If you recall, we used the container div element as, well, just that, our container class. And we did it just for this kind of stuff, so we could redefine the entire all of the content that we have besides of the body, we could have a little more fine-grained control over. So what I'm going to do is there's a number of ways I could either. I always enjoy coding in the coder, but just for this exercise, I'll double click over here on the container, and I'll go to background color, and I'm going to select it as white, and I'm going to hit apply. And now you see it added that code over there, and I'll hit OK, and I'll save it. And now let's look at a preview of this. Okay, very cool. So now we actually have a white background for all our stuff. But it's not a white background for the body. We actually separated that, and we defined white background for our container, and everything inside of that inherited that white because it lives inside of the container. Prior to us doing that, it inherited the body color because the body color was the parent of all these elements. So that's how CSS inheritance works, and it's an important concept to know because it's one of the fundamental ways that CSS works, and it's important for you to know because you know how to, since you know how CSS works, then you know how to use it in the context of your page.